going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. I got you wedged up in the sun visor because I don't have my tripod, so hopefully you don't go flying when I hit a bump here. But today we're going to be working on the tow hole button in the Tahoe. I know I've been incredibly lazy this past week. It is currently Sunday, the weekend of Thanksgiving. Last video uploaded was last Saturday, the Trans Am dyno video. The day I shot it, I uploaded it, and I basically yeah, I haven't done jack shit all week. So today I figured to kind of ease my way back into the work here, we're going to tackle the tow hole button on the Tahoe. Anybody who saw my towing video, link at the top of the screen, you saw it's not working. So I think there's a fix if I pull the lower column off, because apparently the wire for the shifter breaks or something in there. So we're going to get this thing in the garage, pull it apart, see if we can find anything physically wrong with it. All right, check this out. I can't believe I got this thing in here. You can see I still have the Camaro's engine in pieces. I'm right against that table. The door just barely freaking closed. But we are in. I moved the propane on this side. This thing is basically freaking empty. Hopefully we have enough to at least get this job done. Otherwise I'll be hopping in the Trans Am in this ice, sleet kind of bullshit that's going on. And let's go get some more propane. We're lit. Not Canada cold, it's only like in the 30s. I know people from Canada are probably like, 30s, that's fucking absolutely nothing. But for me, it's cold. So first thing I'm gonna do here is just pull the cover. We've got a couple of 7s under here. Last time I think I was in here is when I did the backup camera. Here is the excess for my backup camera wire. And then we have, see the wire here. This plate is just kind of blocking it. It's like there are a bunch of 10s, maybe 11s. So it looks like the shifter wire just comes down, and then it plugs into this connector right here. It looks fine here, so I'm gonna go and pull this cover off of here. I don't even see any screws in there. There are no screws in there. And there weren't any screws in there when I pulled the, when I did the steering wheel video. All right, well, I got it separated. I'm not sure how the slider for the tilt comes off. All right, this seems like an easy fix, but I was able to pry it back with the top separated, where I could see our brake, the wire right there. It looks like it broke through the clip. So here's our shifter end, and there are a couple of wires in here. Looks like there's 2 wires. And then it just goes down there. So I think I'm going to disconnect it from the bottom. And then I'm just going to simply solder it back on from here. And then just fish it back down and plug it back in. That should be it. This is going to be a real easy fix. For anybody who's not really into this kind of thing, honestly, this is kind of a thing that I normally wouldn't make a video for, just because it's kind of simple, maybe a little bit boring. But quite a few of you did comment down below that you had the same problem and you wanted to see a fix for it. So that's why I'm putting this video out, but it looks like it's going to be super simple to fix. So I'm going to just disconnect it, fish the wire through, get the 2 little wires soldered up, and then we'll just throw it back together, test it out. So here's the connector. I'll just take the insulation off of this. All right, so all I did was just pull the boot back, and now we have pretty good access to this. One of these wires looks almost like it's blue, and the other one I guess is white. I don't know, it might just be my eyes, but to me this one looks, the one on the left looks darker than the one on the right. So I'm just going to match them up that way. So I think I'm going to solder these together with a very small piece of heat shrink tubing, and then I'm going to have one bigger piece already loomed on this. So after these are together, I'm going to just kind of squish them together and then put the big piece over it, and that should encapsulate it pretty well to keep it from happening again. So being I have kind of a short run with the wires here, I don't want to melt the heat shrink as I'm soldering these. What I'm going to do is pre-tin these with solder, both sides. Then I'm going to put the heat shrink over, and then I'll just quickly kind of tap them together to get them to fuse, hopefully without melting the heat shrink before I can flip it over. But for anybody who's curious about what I use, I've got questions about this before. I have this Power Probe butane soldering iron. It just runs off butane. You don't have to plug it in. It heats up super quick. So if you want to go check this out, I'm going to put a link to it below the video, as well as this handy little heat shrink kit that I got, also from Amazon. I think this was like 20 bucks or something. Very, very handy to have, and I use this for a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to take two very, very tiny pieces like that. The smaller the better, so they don't reach the heat as I'm soldering. So we got both sides tinned. We have our one thicker piece threaded over. Actually, I want to put like two of them, because I don't know if that's going to be long enough. Then I have this little dinky Harbor Freight butane torch I'm going to use. Got our heat shrink over it. Probably lower this gas substantially here. Don't want to remelt the solder. There is our repair. Now we'll just throw this over it for a little added protection. To kind of replace the insulation that we removed. Perfect. So there we are, all fixed up. For actually putting this back, I'm just going to run it down. I'm not even going to clip it. I'm just going to connect it right under the column. And I'm probably just going to leave it hanging out inside here, because the reason it broke before, it seemed like there was tension on the point where it's mounted. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And this should be fine. I mean, all it's going to rub against is the plastic in here. It seems to be out of the way of the spring for the adjuster for the column. Let's pop the key in now and see if it actually does anything. All right, so we got our key here. Beautiful, look at that. Gotta love free. Yeah, the funny thing was, somebody actually mentioned in the comments that that might be the problem where the wire breaks, and apparently it's a really common issue. But before I actually checked this, I went into eBay and I ordered a Dorman replacement shift lever. The thing was like $60. It came, and it just looked like shit. Like, the printing on here was all wrong. It was all brown looking. It just looked really cheap, like the casting and the plastic. So I ended up just sending it back, still without actually pulling it apart until today. And then yeah, turns out it was just a simple broken wire. And the funny thing is, I thought it would have broke up here, because you can see how it comes out where the metal is. You'd think it would have chafed there and broke, but it didn't. It broke on the clip that it was passing through. I guess just years of bending back and forth, the wires eventually just snapped. So yeah, I think I'm just going to throw this back together. Another thing down on the Tahoe. While I'm here, I might do some work on the Camaro. Not sure. Honestly, I don't feel like doing anything. I mean, I don't know if it's just the weekend or Thanksgiving or whatever. I hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving, by the way. But the Trans Am needs carburetor work. I actually got all the parts in for that. I might break into that, pull it in, take the carb off, maybe soak it in the chem tool, chem dip, whatever it is. But for now, that is gonna do it for this one, guys. Hopefully, if I get out of this lazy streak, I will see you in a couple of days.